Spokane Valley, meet Sim Motion, your local home for high-performance sim racing gear. Budget setups from $300. Visit us in Spokane Valley.
Streaming cyberspace into your place. EchoPark Speedway is the host venue for the Virtual Grip Network's live as it happens 8th round coverage of the Sim Racing Expo, IRSA. Let's a little bit of a, got that one wrong. ISRA Open Wheel Series Season 3. No, the title sponsor. With 7 races in the books, this season has delivered 6 different winners. The latest to join that prestigious group, David Sarah, who last round found victory on the twisty road course of Phillip Island. The only champion this series has known is Kyle Clenworth, and Clendy sits atop the standings currently, but not comfortably, because Matt Taylor, who this season has over 3 times as many laps led as any other driver, lurks in second, just 12 markers back of Clenworth. The grid size will be quaint yet healthy. The track has a reputation for great racing, and the car, well, it's sexy like a movie star just past her prime. So, pull the lever on the Lazy Boy and settle in for the excitement of simulated Dolaras on a paved Atlanta oval. From the state where one night the lights went out in a warm Georgia, hello and welcome on this Wednesday, March 18th, 2026. Jeremy Gridlock Scott joins yours truly, Bill Soup Zahn. I am in the VGM press box to bring you our words of review. Come on, get into the program here, Soup. You've done this before. Turn it up and push the sliders. It's the boss man, Lowell Jewell. All right, let me get off the mic as quickly as possible. I'll turn over to my partner to talk a little bit about tonight's race.
I'm going to have to anchor this damn coverage tonight. Hey, so we've got 110 laps, over 110? I believe it's 110, either way, around the Atlanta Oval. It's 1.5 miles. And, of course, recently NASCAR reprofiled it. So it's 28 degrees in the bankings, 5 degrees in the straights. Track record is a 24.732 in the Indy cars by Billy Boat. But then again, the turns were about 24 degrees in banking. So these cars can be running a little bit faster. It's actually not a naturally aspirated engine. It's not a pig. Actually, it does now that I think about it. But either way, it's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, the series hasn't raced here that much, Soup. They've run a handful of races. And an interesting stat that I drug up during my research here. There were 2 races that were won by a driver named Jason Galvin. Now, for those of you who watch a lot of racing as much as I do, that name sounds very familiar. So I decided to reach out to Mr. Galvin, and he confirmed. Why is this important? Jason Galvin is one of the many voices of NHRA TV. So he is he's one of the ones who calls the nitro cars down the line. So a drag racer has won these races. So DJ, what you waiting on, bud? Come on. And also, don't forget, the Sim Gaming Expo returns to Chicagoland at the Schaumburg Convention Center September 18th through the 20th. Experience the ultimate celebration of simulation gaming. Try the latest sim racing, flight, and VR hardware. Watch live competitions. Meet fellow enthusiasts. And you get to see me in person. If you run away screaming, I understand. This is the one event you don't want to miss. Tickets are on sale now. Visit simgamingexpo.com. And Soup, if you go on their Facebook page, you get to see all the announcements that are coming through. A lot of great vendors are returning. Some new vendors are coming, and there's a lot of great speakers that are going to be there as well.
It is going to be fun indeed. Of course, you were talking about Jason Galvin. We know him a little bit. He did some Lionheart races back in the day, and he has the misfortune of hailing from Bakersfield, California, where he was the morning host of Wakey Wakey Bakersfield for several years. So good to see bring Jason back into our memory banks here. Nice, healthy field tonight. 17 drivers.
Qualifying is underway for these drivers so far. Surprise, surprise, your points leader is fastest. But Soup, take a look at the standings. It's not a total runaway. Glenworth holding on to a slight point advantage over Matt Taylor. I wish I would have done my math right. About 13 points. Richie Hearn sitting there in third. Sarah and Guillaume rounds out your top five.
You see the wins are sprinkled through the field. Racing for that championship. Glenworth has it twice. Taylor has led over 300 laps. Nobody has led more than 100 other than him. Got a new driver to keep an eye on tonight, racing in car number 22. It's Hunter, Lightning, and Thunderberg. He had a very good practice time. Qualifying didn't quite go as well for him.
Of course, you got a lot of drivers coming who will be starting at the back. Tristan Fortson also checking in. He'll be rolling off in the grid as the grid is about to get set up. Soup, I think we're in for a one heck of a show.
We are indeed. There's a lot of fan favorite Richie Hearn. He's yet to get a win. Looking for him to get one. Boy, he almost had one. He almost stole one in Phillip Island on that twisty course.
No, he really did, and really happy to have him on the podium for the first time this season. Would love to see him on there just a little bit more, but we'll see. I mean, a lot of things can happen here in Atlanta.
Oh, I think he's in good shape tonight. He has a nice qualifying run, and we're going to talk about where these drivers are gritting up right now. They're putting their cars out on pit lane. We only get one lap, no parade lap, just the pace lap here, as this is a big oval. Let's go ahead and tell you who's on the pole, who's in the back. It's Matt Taylor. He's led so many laps, and he's going to lead the first one, maybe, if he can hang on, keep Kyle Glenworth behind him on lap number one. Clendy starts in second.
While we're talking about row two, Mark Murphy and Richie Hearn on that row. I do a monthly highlight reel of all of my highlights. Richie, the car looks sexy. The car actually, the paint scheme looks sexy. The car sucked. That's going to be the start of my highlight reel for this month.
Actually, the phrase was sucks a certain type of athletic equipment.
Yep, that too.
Okay.
Yes.
Alex Guillaume starts in fifth. Ryan O'Donoghue will be in sixth.
Good to see Brian Greenlee starting off from the seventh position, and Hunter, Lightning, and Thunderberg rolls off in eighth.
David K. Sarah, whatever will be in ninth. Joshua Blow Your Zorn in 10th.
The World Traveler, Jim Herrick, has a great start in 11th spot, and another newcomer, Tristan Forston Wide, will be rolling off 12th.
In the Baker's Dozen spot, well down the order, is Mason Mitchum. Hugo Gallas in 14th.
Grab the rest of the field right here is Gary Lovert will be alongside the boss man, not our boss man, but boss man Mike Rigney in row 8, and shotgun out of the field, Lewis Hayes.
Glad you were with us. Round number 8 here from Atlanta. 110 laps. We believe it's going to be a two-stop. We do not think they can get to the halfway mark. All the tires that they could want. Tire wear is going to be very significant. We asked around, will pit stops be based on fuel mileage or tire wear? And the answer from many of the drivers was yes. Pace car is in. We wait. Matt Taylor holding them back. Get there at the Chicka's 8, covering the castle with the horses out of the barn, and Matt Taylor leads the stampede across the start-finish line, down into the first corner. In second, it is the two-time champion, Kyle Glenworth. The top side does not work, and he loses the position to Mark Murphy. Murphy now up into second position. Richie Hearn, very slow out of 2, is going to lose a position to Ryan O'Donoghue as he's trying to get into 4th.
Yeah, O'Donoghue making a good start already, up 2 spots so far from his starting position. Already starts a single file, couple of side-by-side actions through the back. One of those is going to be, we've got Richie Hearn and Alex Guillaume battling for position right there. You see Guillaume closing in on the 70, back to his old pace scheme as everybody rubs that wall. 3 wide for position as they work their way off of turn 4. So Richie Hearn going to be down to 6th place.
Hearn could just be sandbagging a bit, turning the knob down a little bit on the fuel intake. Maybe thinking about saving fuel, be faster later, get a long run. He's in that battle with Thunderberg underneath him. Oh, almost getting loose was Dave Bryan. It's not easy being Greenlee. Good to see him back. I thought he was going to lose it, but he saves it.
So good save there as Mark Murphy takes the point for the time being. Matt Taylor falls back one. That's another less lap he leads, because like you said, he's got the most laps led at 3:03 at the start of the race. But either way, big problems in the back straightaway. One car airborne as we've got several cars involved in this one. No caution yet.
It's Richie Hearn.
Richie Hearn.
Greenlee almost went over. My goodness, there's amputated limbs out on the track. Somebody throw a caution. It's like, no.
Oh, look at the pace car double tailing it down there. Hayes, Greenlee, and Hearn all receive meatball flags, so they'll have to come in and address this. I know a couple of drivers thought there was going to be green to checkers, but either way, it is not going to be so as Hearn makes his way to the pits. Let's see if we can get a replay on that one, because we saw just a little bit of what the whole incident. I know I saw one car get airborne. Not sure who it was, but either way, that was one mel of a Hess. Here we go off of turn number 2, and Hearn hits the wall, and that kind of starts it. And I think it was Greenlee behind him, and just used him as a ramp.
Yeah, Greenlee got his car sideways, did a little bit of a, what is that? Mickey Chipwood is what the.
That was the Joey Chitwood show.
Joey
right there.
Chip, thank you. I was digging back. Oh, I love you, partner. I'm glad you're with me.
Well, you know what? We haven't talked to. Let's bring in the rookie. Let's see if Hunter Thunderberg wants to chat with us and find out what the heck he's gotten himself into. I will go ahead and drag him into the booth. Hunter, it's Jeremy and Soup in the booth. What the heck were you thinking joining this circus?
Not much, obviously.
You're staying out. Didn't come in. A lot of the guys came in front of you. You gonna stay out?
Yeah, I figured the best way to learn is to stay up front and race with fast guys, and hopefully it'll play out and have another caution about 10 or 15 laps and come in then.
Do you have any idea if it's got to be a 2-stop race? You're thinking, right?
That's what they're telling me. This is the first time ever racing these cars, so usually a stock car guy. So just going off of what Rigney and the guys are telling me on the pit stops here.
Well, so glad you're here, man. Have a good race. We'll keep an eye on you.
Thank you, guys.
Doesn't sound all that confident, but he seems to have a plan. He's in 4th right now.
I don't think anybody really told him that, hey, you know what? You're going to have 2 weird guys drag you into a booth under a yellow.
Yeah, I think we caught him by surprise.
Answer any question you really they ask you. But yeah, so you see Hearn, Greenlee, and Hayes into the pits. Of course, no faster pairs. This is big boy auto racing, as we like to say. So we'll see how long it takes for them to get out there. But rough start for 3 very quick drivers. And there you go. Mark Murphy back up to the point once again as the pace car has his lights out. And we're about ready to set to go green flag racing once again. You know, everybody was running well, but one thing that I noticed, and I'm not surprised that Hearn had his problems. It's a shame, too, because it seemed like the past couple of times we watched him come off a 2, he kind of slapped the wall a little bit there.
Yeah, for those of you who live in Nevada, if you're looking outside and you're wondering why it's starting to get a little bit overcast, that's not the weather. That's just the steam coming off of Richie Hearn, as he's got to be. He looks so forward to these races each week, and then he's going to have, I think, a quick night here tonight. Of the big names that came in, the biggest one, Kyle Clenworth. He's back in 10th.
Well, Richie, if you're listening to the broadcast, you're always welcome in the booth, and we'd love to have your insight here at Atlanta.
Big movers, and a lot of this is vulturing from pit stops, but up 8 spots is series organizer Mike Rigney. We had the pleasure of having Mike step in the booth with us in Australia as he had an early exit, and boy, he was wonderful. Helped us out a lot, so we appreciate it. We invite anybody who gets an early exit here in the race, come and join in. We'll bring you in. We'll be kind to you. Pace car is in. We're going to be working lap number 8 as they come across the line. Your leader is Mark Murphy. He's been out in front for 4 laps. Single file restarts here in this series, just like they do in IndyCar. Taylor in second, O'Donoghue in third. Watch out for O'Donoghue. He has led a ton of laps. He's second in most laps led. He's due for a win.
Yeah, I think O'Donoghue is due for a win. He's very sneaky about making his way up through the front, and he's going to be one I'm definitely going to have my eye on. But for the time being, Taylor setting the hook, line, and sinker out there, trying to reel in Murphy, and I think he's going to try to go for the draft here off of turn number 1 and set up down low as Taylor Murphy shuts the door on him. Of course, that's going to give O'Donoghue and Guillaume a chance to close in.
I think the draft is significant enough that you can get the lead really when you want to. The question is, do you want to? So much of this is going to be based on fuel miles, trying to make the top side work as he gets a great run. Let's roll around the top. Turn on the reggae music because I'm going to pass you high. Rolling up on top, that is Ryan O'Donoghue.
It's like I always like to say, high, wide, and handsome, and indeed O'Donoghue decides to dive down in front of Murphy. Give O'Donoghue the point. Does he keep it across the line? Indeed he does. So he's going to lead lap number 10 as Murphy doing all he can. He said, you know what? You liked it up high. I'm going to try it up high. No, it's not going to work that way as Taylor's knocking at the door of second place. Everybody's single file so far trying to sort out their car here early on in the shows. He said it's going to be a two-stopper, so I don't know how many people are going to be out there really pushing it too hard, but Taylor, tell you what, somebody who should have been up at the lead, he thinks, sitting back there in third, down 2 spots from his grid spot. O'Donoghue, he's up 5, but Rigney up 8, the high climber of the race.
Yen has moved around Thunderberg. You got to think with St. Patty's Day, just a day gone, that Ryan O'Donoghue would be a good driver to have out in front. That car should be green, baby.
Or if he's one of those rare people who believes in the green superstition. I mean, come on. Well, we saw some of the racing greats in green, so I'm not really worried. However, 13, that's a much different story. As you see Taylor run to the low line, nice and tight, sitting back there in fourth. That interested spectators, Alex Guillaume, and here comes Thunderberg, trying to see what he can do on Guillaume there. But I tell you what, for a stock car guy, Hunter's really learning pretty quickly.
A lot of good excitement up front. We don't need to go there, but I just want to point out that playing it very cool is Kyle Clenworth. He's really not up many spots from where he started right now. We better go to Clenworth because he is in a side-by-side battle, and I got a little bad feeling about this one. They get it sorted out. That was Mike Rigney and Clendy getting really close together.
And for those watching, you think, oh no, why is he so far back? Well, this is how Clenworth runs these races. He falls back, lets the race come to him, and then usually around the last 30 laps, that's about when you really want to find out where Clenworth is, because if he's anywhere within the top 5, it could be game over for you. As once again we see Rigney up high trying to defend on Clendy as they work their way around 3 and 4 once again. Here comes Taylor looking to the inside. Murphy shuts the door on him. Another lap goes by with O'Donoghue in the lead. Of course, he's liking that these two behind him are trying to go side by side as he opens up the gap just a little bit. But then again, once they get back in line, they're able to catch up to the 14 just easily, so quickly here. And I love that shot coming off of turn number 2. But either way, so far so good, as we've got one car down on the apron. I believe that's going to be Joshua Zorn, who will be coming into the pits. No, that's going to be one of the other lap down cars. It's going to be Brian Greenlee coming in for more service. Richie Hearn's still on pit road getting serviced.
Greenlee had that car on 2 wheels there for a long time, trying to just put in some laps. Brian's been watching the season, but he hasn't really been able to race on him. I think this might be his first race here, maybe his second. I'll have to check the stats, but always a better race when Brian Greenlee is in it.
That's race number 4 for Greenlee. He's got 3 races and a top 10 earlier on. 2 laps led so far in the season, but yeah, here's Hunter Thunderberg, one of the drivers that really kind of caught our eye, especially in practice, as he's really learning a lot about these IR18s. all around the circuit, but still looking pretty good in spite of Guillaume running the fastest lap of the race with a 22.614. And yeah, I mean, heck, why not, learning by fire as he sits 5th place in what is most notably the paint scheme that Will Power won his first ever IndyCar race in.
If fuel mileage means anything, you got to think that O'Donoghue is not concerned about it, as he's led the most laps. He loves to lead, but out there without any help breaking the draft, he's got all that heavy air to push. Going to be using up the most fuel. I would expect him to come in first if indeed the tires last that long. If the tires don't last that long, then fuel mileage is kind of academic. These cars fill up so quickly in pit lane that if you need just a touch more fuel, it's not going to be a killer.
No, it's not. But then again, they also have that caution period where they could have trimmed out to run very lean. And of course, the longer we get in these runs, these drivers are going to have their tools to play with. So that's something to think about as well. I did see a battle for position further back. Harrigan Fortson sitting back there in 6th place. They're side by side. Fortson running his first race of the season, but there's Glendy going high, wide and handsome in 6th place. Gets around David Sarah for 8th. Now sets his sights on the newcomer for that 7th spot. So once again, we're seeing the Glenworth attack that we normally see throughout the race. And Fortson, he's trying the Kyle Larson line around 1 and 2. I don't know if that's going to work too well for him. As you see Rigney falling back to 11th. He's neck and neck with Mason Mitchum, one of the drivers who are kind of surprised that he didn't qualify too well, but already making hay while the sun's up. It's up 3 spots for the 33.
Yeah, Mitchum might be saving his cards later when the deck gets a little thin. Preston Fortston having a nice run. We've lost 3 drivers: Brian Greenlee, Lewis Hayes, and Richie Hearn. Little battle for second right now. And he's going to try to make it a twofer. That's Matt Taylor.
Oh, no surprise. Oh, a little bit of tap the wall there by O'Donoghue, and Taylor gets to the point. Not sure if he got the lap led or not. They'll cross the line, but either way, it's going to definitely be a lap led here this next time by, as Taylor easily dispatches of O'Donoghue, but O'Donoghue going to try and go high this time by and loses ground around 3 and 4. That's going to give Matt Taylor another lap led on this massive lap led season out of the number 8 driver, driving under the United Nations flag.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad Russia didn't veto him and let him race this race. Sometimes they'll veto and you can't race. You got to be careful about that. Clenworth and Sarah are both on the same tire strategy. Sarah pretty sneaky. He said, you know what, if a 2-time champion's going to pit, maybe I'll do it too. David Sarah back in 9th place, right behind Clenworth. Look for them to lead a couple laps. I think they're going to stay out longer.
I have a feeling that they will. I think that lap 40 or 45 might be our sweet spot for the pit stops, is Ryan O'Donoghue doing his best to stay in position right now as he's on the attenuator of Mark Murphy. Murphy leading a bunch of laps early on, but he really just can't save it together. I'm thinking that he lost a lot of his tire grip right there, as now you see Alex Guillaume trying to look to the inside of O'Donoghue, and O'Donoghue can do nothing but hold on here. Would not be surprised that if O'Donoghue decides to come in. So I think the leaders, if you stay out there for a while, it's going to be game over. And also take a look at Funderburk as he works his way behind O'Donoghue once again. So, I'm watching Funderburk, Soup, and I'm thinking, you're probably thinking the same thing I am. We've got a driver who runs on Friday and Saturday nights. I think he would be perfect for this series.
Well, are we thinking James Lowe?
We are thinking James Lowe,
Yeah.
and I think we got to start coaxing him because I think he would have a fun time doing this. Hey, you also have Fortson trying to hold off the two-timer Glendworth for that 7th spot. Glendy saving his equipment there.
Indeed. I've got a hunch now that all this talk of fuel that one of the commentators have been talking about might be pointless. I'm looking at tire wear now. Some of these guys are disappearing. And I'm not sure if they can make it till the tank is empty.
No, I think that's going to be a little bit difficult. This is a more abrasive surface because it's Georgia. So, you don't have the rough surface like you would at a Michigan, Chicagoland, Milwaukee, but still, stock cars run like crazy on here. You think this is drafting, you should watch a stock car race around here. Jim Herrick makes his entrance into the top 5 as Glendy now in 7th, knocking on the door of 6th. As you see Herrick and O'Donoghue going side by side. Herrick gets the spot for the time being. I say the time being because Glenworth, he's right there ready to pounce.
And back there, a little farther back, is David Sarra. You got to watch out for him. He's on the same pit strategy as Glenworth. Glenworth now making his way around Ryan O'Donoghue. O'Donoghue is, boy, I just can't think the tires have gone that much, but he's struggling right now.
Oh, could it be a position where he's not, using the weight jack or anything like that to try and help the setup because he's really falling back as if, the tires just fell off the cliff.
Or did all those laps out in front? Is he thinking fuel mileage? I can't imagine that he would be. This is costing him so much.
We'll see what happens here, see what the thinking is. Only 38 laps into this race as Sarra goes high, wide, and handsome. Trying to get around Tristan Fortson for that 7th spot. Fortson up 5 spots as he's going to go down 1 spot. Oh, slight tap against the wall as Sarra makes his way around for 7th place. Sarra, your winner last time out at Phillip Island, trying to see if he can at least finish in the top 5 here as Matt Taylor, he's checked out from the field soup, 2.2 seconds over Murphy.
Director, I want to go all the way back to 12th position. There's good battles going all the way. You don't have to be a leader to get on the screen here on VGN. There's a battle between Zorn, Laverne, and Gallias. Gallias back there 3rd in line. These guys are all on the same pit strategy, have yet to make a stop.
Of course, the only drivers to make a stop.
Zorn has made a stop. Sorry, Zorn and Gallas has made a stop. Laverne has not. Go ahead, partner.
As I say, yeah, I mean, you've got Glendy, Surav, who's made a stop, Mitchum, Zorn, and Gallas, who have all made pit stops. We're not really counting the drivers who are still parked there in pit road. But either way, this could be an interesting pit strategy for those who have decided to stop. We got one more driver going in. I think that's Murphy.
It is. Pitting from up front. He goes 41 laps, and take into account there was a caution period. He'll need one more stop to get to the end. And now he hopes that it stays green. He does not want to get caught out.
So Matt Taylor opening up a massive lead as you look at the battle between Zorn and Lovern. That's for 11th, I should say. I was looking at the 4, and my mind just said, oh, it's 14th. But you know what? I've been up since 3:30 this morning, so
yeah, I got
sorry. Lovern and Zorn, though, neck and neck around the corner. Of course, you got Gallas sitting back there as well. He's going to go high and soup. I think that middle line, it's great for a lot of drivers, but once you stray from that middle line and go even further higher, that's where you start to lose a lot, and I mean a lot of momentum.
Murphy cycles out 2 laps down. His pit stop was nice. Just a tick under 9 seconds, so it was pretty darn quick.
Well, I've so okay. So what that tells me is that if you go for a green flag pit stop, you're gonna lose 2 laps. It is, so okay, that's just how it is. That's fine. That's what makes green flag pit stops so great, because now you really got to battle for position to get up there. Speaking of battling for position, Gledworth up to 4th place. To see him going around the inside of Herrick. Now he tries to go high, wide, and handsome once again on Funderburk. Is still. He's about the only one who can plant his car anywhere he wants and say, that's where I'm going to go. Move Glenworth to 3rd around Funderburk. I'm sure Hunter's probably looking to go, what the heck is that?
David Sorrow has been doing his best to follow Clendy through the field. Sorrow does pick up another position. Now, I want you to pay attention. This is something my dad taught me when I was a little boy. He called it the early peel, late reveal. And he said, son, watch for somebody who peels off into pit lane early. You'll forget about them, and then what is revealed later is you find them out in front. Murphy right now is out there running some fast laps. He got nice fresh tires. Let's look. O'Donoghue comes in to pit lane. We'll see. Go ahead and get a look at O'Donoghue, who was fading. I can't imagine he's going to get out in front of Murphy. So I think Murphy is still going to be the leader when this is all said and done of all the cars that have made that legitimate first pit stop.
I think that's a very good point right there, and we'll see how far he comes out behind Murphy, as he's got another car screaming in the pit road, and yeah, the dance is here.
It's Taylor, so he comes in. So now we get to watch. I guess the battle would be between off pit lane would be Taylor and Funderburk, as they were both up front. Now, Murphy is the guy to watch out for. Murphy is coming around. He's on the back straight right now. We'll see if he's able to do the overcut. Taylor is back out on track, but not at full song yet. I think Murphy's too far back. I think Taylor's going to be able to get in and out. Boy, it takes forever to get these Delaras wound up. Heading down into 4. Murphy can see him, but he's about 2 football fields behind him.
Oh, it's not just the whole car. It's mostly the Firestones that have some problems. By the way, when I said that 40 to 45 lap 40 45 is going to be the prime window, I forgot to tell you guys, there was a day I was sick from the Davey Hamilton School of Race Strategy, and it was to equate the caution into your prediction of when you want your driver to come in. So, oops. Kyle Glenworth, though, with the lead once again over David Syrah, and Syrah having a good run so far. As Clendy goes high and gives the French-Canadian a chance to lead some laps. Ali, Syrah, your leader.
Syrah's been following him around the whole time. They both came in for that same pit strategy. Syrah seems to be putting a little distance between him and Clendy. They're going to make a stop here in about, I'd say, 6 laps. Look for them to come in. Lap 60 would be my guess. And then it'll all cycle through.
Yeah, a bit of a off strategy for these guys. Will it work? Well, we'll find out here in about 55 laps time, as we are halfway through this race. As you saw Funderburk, there is Fortson as he works his way off of pit road. And Fortson, let's see, where's he going to be? He's falling down to 8th. I think he's going to, sort in somewhere around where Rigney and Herrick are. So that's going to be an interesting battle. But, Syrah is now into the pits. So lap 56, he can do no more.
Don't listen to me. He came in a little earlier. Glenworth will still be your leader, but what we want to do is pick up Murphy. Murphy down the back straight right now. I think he's easily going to get around Syrah, but it won't be by much. My guess is Syrah files out somewhere maybe behind Guillaume. Might fall maybe in 3rd position. Murphy goes by.
You're forgetting the 8 of Taylor, who has a 4-second lead on Murphy as well. So that could be your leader. Right. That could be your leader, actually, when Glenworth comes into the pits. Hunter Funderburk closing in on Ryan O'Donoghue for 9th spot. So aggregate, that's going to be a battle for 8th once. Yep, there goes Clenworth deep in, actually Mason Mitchum into the pits right now. No, this is Clenworth. I could count, trust me. That's 2-time sitting there on the apron as he works his way onto pit road. Let's watch and see how he gets on. He's able to slow it down. A little bit of a slide, and he get the black flag. Not good for Clenworth. He's too fast entering. Mitchum also too fast entering.
Oh, bad news for those guys. You're right, though, and Taylor was able to get out in front of Murphy. That was my fault. Murphy racing in second. Saros cycles out in fourth. Remember, he was racing right with Clenworth, but now with Clenworth's issue, that's going to be a tough comeback.
It's like we always say, it's better to have it early over having it as your last pit stop, but still, when you're racing 110 laps, any kind of penalty is absolutely killer. And Clenworth still getting onto pit road, so he takes his pit stop and he takes his punishment right now. He's going to fall in line, I would say, probably around where Lover, and actually he is going to fall down further. He might even fall down to the clutches of Mitchum, who also had a too fast entering pit stop.
Leader working lap number 80. Nope.
61.
Oh, my eyes are so bad. Let's try that again. Lap number 61. Taylor.
And here I'm looking at the Irish whiskey that I had from last night that's still unopened.
Clenworth finally makes it back out onto the track in 12th. He is 2 laps down. I've seen people make amazing comebacks. If Clenworth were able to get back on the lead lap and win this thing, that would rank up there with the greatest of all time.
Totally agree with that one. But Syrah, tell you what, he's having the race of his life. You would think last time out at Phillip Island would have been. But really, we've talked with Syrah, and he said, you know, ovals aren't my thing. I'm more of a road course guy. Well, you take a look at his, he's got 3 top 5s, 5 top 10s, 1 win on the season. So, you know, we've only run 2 road courses so far this year. I think Syrah can really hang with the best of them here.
Indeed. Little sad news for him as he lost his racing partner, Clenworth, but maybe he's glad to be rid of him because now he doesn't have to beat him. Syrah does have an advantage, though, as he's in a 3-car battle with Guillaume and Herrick. Syrah can just go back and talk to Guillaume in French. They can communicate in that other language, and Herrick won't know what's going on. That's really not fair.
No, it's really not fair, but either way, is there really anything fair in racing these days? Alex Guillaume making it a Canadian 3-4. As that's where Guillaume's going to say, move, let's go, come on. Let's get away from Herrick and force it, which really, Herrick with a fantastic run so far, 5th in that number 40.
Andale, arriba. I think that's hurry in French. Maybe not. Channeled little Speedy Gonzalez for those of you old enough to remember him.
We're making everybody mad. Everyone who's listening. Well,
the political correct crowd has not been kind to Speedy. We miss you, Speedy.
Yeah, we really do. But either way, hey, I grew up with Speedy Gonzalez, so I mean, look at me now. Oh, wait, yeah, that's right. I'm sitting at home talking to myself. Syrah looks in his mirrors. He sees Guillaume slip high. Herrick closes in on that 4th spot as they go down the straightaway. Fortson, the interested spectator for the first time, gets to learn what the interested spectator position is. Actually, it's going to be Herrick sitting there as I need to read my numbers. You get a 4-car battle there. So Fortson really falling back 5 seconds behind this battle as Herrick trying any line that he can to close in. So right there in the middle, I believe, that is 2-time Kyle Clenworth who's in the middle. That's why I'm having problems. It's okay, Jeremy. We'll get through this broadcast.
Okay, Director. Let's see if my partner and I can go through the field here. Well, I'll take 2 at a time. I'll take the first two. My partner will take 3 and 4. We'll see if we can get all the way through all the cars on the lead lap. Let's start up front. Matt Taylor with a nice lead, about 6 seconds, a tick under 7 seconds over Mark Murphy. Murphy's been out there 8 laps. Let's see how long. They're both on the same pit strategy. Who's in third?
Well, the highest is actually the highest of the 2-stoppers so far. It's David Serra, so it's really be 3-stop strategy out of the 0.99. Trying to hold off Guillaume and Herrick, of course. Clendy, what might have been for him, he is right now 2 laps down after a speeding penalty on pit road, Soup.
Then you got to go way down after you get through Jim Herrick in 5th position, down to 6th for our newcomer, Tristan Forston. Forston in a nice little battle. He's got Rigney, about 2 seconds back as Mike Rigney trying to close in from 7th. Who's in 8th?
On 8th, you've got another newcomer, Hunter Funderburk, who is trying to close in on Rigney, but really a little bit too far away. But O'Donohue, 4 seconds behind there. And O'Donohue, another driver, what could have been, as works his way just outside of the top 10. Soup, he's got 2 drivers behind him as well.
They did. O'Donohue 1 lap down. Let's go through the entire field. We got time. The drivers are going to behave. Go down to a driver 1 lap down in 10th. It's Gary Laverne. He's in a really nice battle. Let's stop our run through the field for a minute and just watch this battle for a second. This is Laverne and Joshua Zorn. They don't get a ton of screen time, but they're having a lot of fun racing for that top 10 spot. Zorn back biding his time. Let's check and see strategy. They've both been out there the same amount of laps. They're an identical strategy. Oh, I heard somebody hit the wall. Nope. Everyone seems to be okay. All right. Who you got down there in 12th position? Oh, look who it is.
It's 2-time Kyle Klendworth, as we mentioned. That speeding penalty really hurt him, but he's really showing the speed that he could have had he not gone too fast entering. But it's something that we've been detailing all season long, Soup. It's this hybrid system, which will keep the tires spinning quite fast. And of course, you want to be really careful going onto the apron there. So, Klendworth, you're first of the lap down cars. Not too far away from him is another driver who ran into misfortune on pit road, Soup.
Yeah, Mason Mitchell had the same issue as Clendy, and that's why he's down in 13th position. And then the last car running, car number 57, Hugo Galles. Galles out there just putting in the laps right now. He is 3 laps down.
And really, that's all that matters, is getting out there, getting the laps, getting the points, because now you've got 3 drivers below you who you can jump in the points realistically. You've got Greenlee, Hayes, and Hurd all out of the race. Hearn's still on pit road getting repairs, but I mean, let's just be real. I unfortunately don't see Richie coming back out there, and indeed, he has confirmed that. Let's bring in last week's podium finisher, Richie Hearn. We were just talking about you. Were your ears burning?
No, my friend was watching the broadcast and said they were looking for you to come in, for me to come in.
Oh, why aren't you watching the broadcast when you're out of the race? Richie,
I was pissed. I went and took my dog for a walk.
we figured that. We knew the weather report in Nevada was overcast, and we thought a lot of it had to do with the steam that was coming off of you. Tell us a little bit about this race. It looks like tires are going to be an issue here in the long run. Is that what you think? I know he didn't get very far, but is that your guess?
I mean, they are and they aren't. You just got to take care of that right front, and you can't just go balls out the whole time. You got to lift and I'm pissed because I usually do good at this track, and the car just took off on me. But it really just, you got to take care of the car and be there at the end.
Just quick note, first of the leaders to pit is Tristan Forston, the newcomer coming in. Go ahead, Punter.
I just saw that, and yeah, and that's one of the rare things about this track. You say it's not the typical stop and steer. You have to kind of let off, breathe, let the car come to you, and go back there. And is that the reason why we're seeing so many cars slide up into that third lane?
Yeah, I mean, you go into the corner and you got a lot of support on the front, and then all of a sudden it just kind of flattens out, and you just got to be ready for it, and I wasn't. even though I practiced a lot, I just caught me out.
Hey, Richie, I got a question for you that I've been dying to ask race drivers. I'm watching some IndyCar, and I noticed that Scott Dixon isn't getting the results that he used to get, and maybe that'll turn around. What is it? If I'm watching sports and I'm watching basketball, I notice that the athlete can't jump as high. If I'm watching baseball, I notice his bat speed is down. If a quarterback maybe has lost some arm strength. As a fan, we can't see what causes age to what is it that diminishes a race driver as they age?
You know, for me, it was just that commitment level. You know, it's easy to drive around at 95%, but that last 5%, if you start thinking about it a little bit, then that's what happens. And for me, that's what happened. I just couldn't do it. And instead of just dragging around, I just decided to quit. And as far as Scott goes, I don't think that's happening. I mean, he's just got younger guys that are, and it just happens. It's evolution, and maybe he's at 98%, you know, instead of 100, and that's the difference for him right now. But, you know, he's going to be there. He's smart, and, you know, I like to see him win the Indy 500 this year.
I would too. As far as that last 5% goes, is that from knowing, as we're looking at more pit stops, is that from knowing the consequences of a crash? You've had a couple of big ones. Does that take a little bit of the starch out of you, or the foolishness of youth?
I think so, and it just, for me, it was just a switch. Honestly, in the middle of the 2007 500, really in the middle of the race, I just decided at one point, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Fascinating.
And I just quit. You just realize that extra little bit is maybe a little too much for you, and I mean, that's what happened to me. It doesn't happen to everybody, but that's literally what happened to me.
Fascinating.
All right, I've got to ask you this. It's a burning question I've had in my mind. You ran the Atlantic Championship 94, 95. If I were to say the name Joe Griffin, what kind of fear does that strike in you?
Yeah, I don't really know him that well, but yeah, it's a crazy dude.
For those who don't know, Joe Griffin. So Joe Griffin was the tech director for Atlantics, still is to this day. And he and I are really good friends, so we talk about twice a week. And every once in a while, we'll bring up names. I'll have to talk when I talk to him tomorrow. I'll bring you up and see what he has to say, and we'll report back. By the way, O'Donoghue and Rigney, too fast entering. They had to come into the pits, and O'Donoghue, to add insult to injury, Soup, had a meatball flag.
Yeah, and Richie, I want to ask you about that. Clintworth got a penalty for pit entrance. Murphy did as well. Mitchum did as well. Anything tricky about this track, or is they just being a little aggressive?
Well, it's in a green flag. Just remember, at this speed, every second is about 100 yards on the track, and the way you got to come in so hot, but you got to stay below that white line. And I practiced a lot, but you know, even half a second, that's 50 yards that you lose, and you might lose the draft. So you're trying to do everything you can to not do that.
Well, Soup, that's what I talked about early on this season. I had the opportunity to have Jimmy Vassar take me around in a pace car. We were running maybe a third of the speed that these guys run, but even in a pace car, it is absolutely sketchy for these guys to get on and off pit road. Speaking of, Matt Taylor decides he's going to answer the call for his final pit stop.
Guillaume as well, and Funderburk. Taylor and Sarah stay out. Now, watch out for Sarah. He's sleepy, man. Taylor coming in.
Sarah's going to be good. It's going to come down to just those in and out laps. And if you want a good example of that, go back and watch the 2000, I think it was 2000 Indy 500 when Montoya won. And every pit stop, he was a second faster than everybody else on the in and the out lap. And that was the difference. Every time he came out, he was a couple hundred yards ahead of everybody. It just is such a big part of the game that people don't think about.
Okay, so Sarah pits from the lead. What we're going to do is pick up two drivers now. Taylor is just coming out on track. This will be the battle for the lead. The gap was about 2 seconds as they came into pit lane. I would imagine that Taylor should be able to get around before Syrah comes out. But now they only need to take, I don't know, it's the amount of how much fuel do you not need?
Well, the tires
Taylor
take
doing
7
his
seconds, so that's how you calculate it.
Okay.
Taylor is by. Syrah is coming out. Murphy
Now
gets the jump on him. And I think
Now,
Murphy can probably go the distance.
we saw how sketchy it was trying to get these guys on and off pit road with no problems. Herrick, he's got to come in soon, though, because he's right now at a one-stopper. And, indeed, we see him dive down to pit road. So that will hand the lead back to Matt Taylor. But, Richie, I've got to ask, how sketchy are those tires when they're green? And you got to get out there and make sure that you run your best out lap.
I mean, you got to push it to the limit. That's why you practice it. Yeah, I practice it a lot, and it's easy to overdo it, and you don't want to underdo it, so you're trying to find that fine line. I think Jim went over the white line there, unfortunately, coming into the pits.
Sounds like what we had Friday night in the super late models. But, Soup, this is absolutely a great battle as Herrick is on the Jackson, indeed, 11-12. And, yeah, indeed, he's serving a bit of a penalty there for going over that white line. So he'll fall down into the order. Murphy with a 9.6 second deficit to get to Matt Taylor with about 12 laps to go.
Indeed. Stick around, folks. In a couple laps, it'll be boogie time. Then I'm going to ask Richie Hearn if he can possibly try to explain, as if he's talking to a fourth grader, how the hybrid system works on an oval. It makes no sense to me, so we'll see if he can explain it. I don't understand how they can possibly recharge when you're trying to go as fast as you can. We'll get that in just a minute, so I give Richie a little bit of a lead in there so he can gather his thoughts and explain to an idiot how it might work. With that said, we're watching Matt Taylor. Let's go to Matt Taylor. He's out at corner number 4. You're going to like this, Richie, this new feature. We didn't do this when you were around doing Lionheart. Gather up the chickens. They cover. That's the wrong thing to say. I went to the wrong catchphrase. What I want to say is, if you're thinking about winning, get the mirror ball spinning, grip the groove, make your move, put on your dancing shoes, because it's time to boogie. And I hope your chickens are gathered up as well.
See what I got to deal with every week.
All right, Richie, there are no battles out on the track. Do your best to explain to me how you charge your battery on an oval.
So the battery charges 2 ways, either on the brakes,
right?
Or you have a button that you can push that'll charge the battery. Obviously, when you're running by yourself, but it's like putting the brakes on. So you don't want to do it by yourself. So if you're in the draft, though, you can hold the button down. It doesn't take very long. You can do it in little spurts, and you can keep the draft basically, and then you can charge it back up. And you really want to. The biggest thing on the oval is it's kind of strategic. You want to save it for like the last lap, last half a lap or whatever, but you got to be in the draft, because if you push that button, it's like stepping on the brakes for about 2 or 3 seconds.
So because you're in the draft, that's how you can afford to lose the horsepower or the speed to let the engine generate the battery, because you're getting a little advantage from. If you're by yourself, it's a tough thing to do, though, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take very long. It's probably about a quarter of a turn, but you lose probably 3/4 of a second doing it on this track. So you don't really want to do it if you're by yourself. You want to try to get behind somebody. If you pass them, then you can't recharge it. So you kind of want to just hold that back until you need it.
Makes sense. All right, Richie, I'm going to put the pressure on you. We got 4 laps to go. Stick around to the end for me, okay, buddy? We'll let you go after that. Hey, you know this. You don't have to stay for interviews, okay?
Copy.
There's an old-time broadcaster who knows what that means. No real battle out there, partner.
Yeah, no, I like that description there, but Matt Taylor really putting the hurting on the rest of the field. Something we mentioned is, Matt, he's led the most laps so far this season. Unfortunately, he only has one win to show for it. That was at Gateway, where that's a very strategic track. But here, as he said, really trying to get, you really got to be careful on where you let off, where you get back on. Is this really any surprise, Richie, that Matt's doing as well as he is here at Atlanta?
No, not really. I mean, he's super, super good, and he's really good at managing his tires. I don't know how he does it as well as he does, and he's obviously built up a gap, and he knows how to manage it.
Hey, page 17 of the VGN's commentator handbook says, when you have a race, you got a little bit of time, you don't have a battle, show the series organizer. He's paying the bills. Let's put some love, little screen time to car number 80, Mike Rigney. He's the last car out there right now. How many laps are you down, Mike? You're down 4. But we'll get you a little screen time before we focus our attention on the leader. Getting the white flag. He has a win already this season. He's going to get a second one. Out of corner number 2. With Clendy having some trouble. Oh, my goodness. The points are going to get so much tighter. And we're talking about Matt Taylor. Out of 4, nothing between him and the checker flag, but a deep breath. Winner of round number 8, Matt Taylor.
And, of course, you got to wait and hold your breath for just a little bit longer as Mark Murphy comes down to the line. He'll finish off in second place, and you still got to wait a little bit longer for last week's winner. He won last week, finished third. It's David Syrah. Coming across the line, the 099, Alex Guillaume, and Treston Fortson. I knew I was going to get that wrong. Rounds out your top 5 in his first race of the year.
Good start. All right, with that, we'd like to thank Richie for stepping in and helping us out. The the racing is over. The broadcast is not. We'll let Richie go off and get out into the Nevada countryside. You're watching VGN. Don't go far. From EchoPark Speedway, this is the Virtual Grip Network's Live as it happens 8th round coverage of the Sim Gaming Expo ISRA Open Wheel Series. It's season 3. The results are in. Let's give them to you now. He led 74 of the 110 laps. He picks up his second win of the season. He gets very close to becoming points leader. We're talking about Matt Taylor. Mark Murphy had a nice run as well. He comes home in second. David Surratt did a kind of alternate pit strategy as he made 3 stops, worked out for him. He comes home in third. Rounding out your top 5, Alex Guillon and newcomer Tristan Fortson. Kyle Clenworth, you know, he salvages a pretty good night for him. He was 2 laps down. By the time he gets done with it, he's going to finish in 7th position. He's going to be happy with that. Hunter Thunderberg in 8th. Gary Laverne, a very quiet 8th position for him. Sorry, 7th for Thunderberg. Joshua Blow your zone in 9th, and rounding out your top 10, Jim Herrick. Partner?
Before I go off reading the rest of my field, I got to say, I was impressed with Fortson and Thunderberg with great, clean races here.
Indeed.
For their first ever race with ISRA, so hopefully we'll see them back out. In 11th was Hugo Galaz, Mason Mitchum running into problems, as well as Ryan O'Donohue. Mitchum 3 laps down, O'Donohue 4 laps down, Rigney also 4 laps down, 14th. And out of the race, which caused that first caution, Brian Greenlee, Lewis Hayes, and Richie Hearn.
With that said, we'll get to talk to our race winner today. We'll bring Matt Taylor in. Matt, got a copy at Soup.
I got you.
Nice job. Tell me about your race. Seemed pretty comfortable after that second pit stop. Go a little earlier.
Yeah. We had that caution, and I could tell it. I couldn't quite figure out if it was how borderline on making it was on one more stop. And so I kind of rode around there when we restarted for a bit and realized that I could probably make it halfway, maybe close, but that was with 2 laps of caution, so it wasn't meant to be, and so I just pushed. And luckily, it sounds like Kyle made a mistake and took the best fuel saver out, and it was just kind of limiting mistakes and cruising.
Let's talk about early in the race. It's pack racing. You can lead if you want to, but O'Donohue got out in front. Are you happy just to ride around behind, or do you like to be out in front?
In that case, when you're trying to save fuel because we have so much draft and that around here, it's really easy to save a ton. I mean, like you're like 25% less fuel that you can save. It's kind of crazy. So a lot of it was doing that. If it were like not a fuel save and we had tire fall off and those kinds of things, you'd absolutely want to be out front. But the way this was starting to play out, it was kind of just a wait and see. And it seemed like, at least at the front, most of the field was pretty comfortable riding there for a while.
I want to give one more question just to help me out, and I think the viewers may be interested in this. We had Richie coming in, and Richie Hearn sit in the booth with us for a while and talk about how to charge the battery. If this was going to be a shootout, and you're looking at the last lap, how important is it to have a boost with that battery when you're looking to use it on that, let's say, a last lap shootout for the win?
It's sort of track dependent. Here, it'd be interesting here just because of how much more speed and boost we're carrying, how much that would offset. But normally what happens in these pack year races is your leader burns that hybrid and then doesn't have it. And so that guy that's running in second can use that little bit, and that can be more than enough to take the lead. So ideally, you'd be able to have the lead and save it coming off of turn 4 to the line to hopefully offset any run. But it is so dependent on kind of where we're at track-wise, how much grip you have. You'd always love to have that boost if you can.
Interesting stuff. Hey, congratulations, second one of the season. We'll see you down the road.
Appreciate it, guys.
Matt Taylor, your winner today, and very close to being points leader. Partner, I think we got just one more guy. You got Mark Murphy?
Yeah, we got Mark Murphy, the driver of the number 69, finishes off in second place. up one position, but that doesn't tell the whole story as you're up and down throughout the field. Congratulations on the runner-up finish.
Yeah, it was a fun day. It was fun to see Ryan lead there for a while. Ultimately, Matt made the right call first, which was there's no way we're going to make it, so stand on it and go. And by the time I got around to figuring it out, he was already a couple of seconds up the road, and that was really all she wrote. So kudos to Matt for making the right call at the right time and riding off into the sunset. I was probably too conservative getting off a pit road. Every time I tried to practice the fast way off a pit road, I spun the car. So I was real ginger getting off a pit road, and it cost me a ton of time. But it was pretty obvious to me, at least, that if you could make it, and Clindy ran out coming across the line a lap down, it's pretty obvious to me that if you tried to stretch it, you were going to fall a couple of laps or a lap short, and it wasn't going to be worth it. So once that happened, it was, okay, I'm gonna just drop the race into thirds, and unfortunately, it turns out that the tires really didn't fall off all that much. So that might have been kind of a mistake. I didn't figure out the way to run the car. I didn't figure out the tools until almost the end of my second stint. And then, at the end, Matt and I are just running the same lap times. He's 10 seconds ahead. You're never going to catch him. So, congratulations to him. Kudos on a heck of a run. And, that's about all you can say, man. It was, that guy's fast.
He's fast. The only thing that can slow him down is a pit road penalty. Points just came out. You're up 3 spots to 15th. And what really sticks out with me is out of the 3 races you've run with us, you've got 3 top 5s. What is it about coming here and just constantly running up front?
I mean, Rigney runs Mike runs a solid league, and it's just about showing up and keeping your nose clean and going fast and having fun. That's the name of the game, and we try to do that. I got lucky tonight, I think, because I made the right call to go, and them other guys were trying to save gas and staked us to a big lead, and kind of the same deal between me and the third place guy as it was between me and Matt. So, just got lucky tonight. Sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good, I guess. But it all boils down to just keeping it clean and going fast and having a good time and hanging out with your buddies, and just keep going fast, man.
All right, rest up. We've got Richmond next week. 150 laps around the bull ring. Congratulations, and we'll see you there.
Absolutely. Got to thank my sponsors real quick. Black Magic Studios, Admin Box, P1 Broadcasting. Thank you so much, guys, for putting on the show. I appreciate it, and have a good night.
Mark Murphy, your runner-up.
There you go. Oh, real quick, we'll talk to our driver who finished in third position. I'll take this one. David Soro. David, you got a copy?
Yeah.
We saw what you did. Good strategies, whatever Clendy does, do that. You followed him in, you chased him around the track, you got up to the front, and then you had trouble, and then you left you all by yourself, but you still got yourself a podium.
Yeah, it's a bit of a lucky one because Kyle had his problem. Alex and I worked hard to try to find a way to wear the tires the right way all the race long, and it worked very well for him and for me. And when I was behind Kyle, I said to myself that I just have to follow him and I will finish maybe second. But it was a bit too fast for me. But still, I'm very happy to be here in the podium with you guys.
It was fun to watch you. You win on a twisty course. You get yourself a podium on the oval. Well done. You're doing well in the points. It's fun to watch you race.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we'll see you down the road. That's your third place finisher today, the French Canadian David Serra. All right, partner, the bourbon is already in the glass. While I pour in the soda water, why don't you take us home?
Well, before we do that, Matt Taylor takes over the points lead. It's 386 points to 379 for Clendy. How close will it be? Well, next time out, were you Kansas? I thought we were Richmond next week. Either way, we'll be back next week doing some sort of oval. We're not sure which one. It is what it is. Then you see tomorrow night is Thompson Speedway for Skidder Creek Modified. You and I get to do Hickory on Saturday night. I'll do that Friday as well with Shaggy and Bristol on Sunday, North Wilkesboro on Monday, and Concord on Tuesday. Once again, thanks for joining us here on the Virtual Grip Network, and with all of our faces here, my name's Jeremy Scott, alongside Bill Soupson, and of course the boss man, Lowell Jewell, pushing the knobs, turning the sliders in the background. Remember to keep it between the ditches, keep it pointing forward, and always keep it greasy side down. We'll see you next time on the Virtual Grip Network.